Hello, George.
Hello, Clement. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm great.
Cool. This is the first question, so could you please introduce yourself?
For sure. I'm George. I guess I'm the co-founder of Step Finance. I say I guess because in my Twitter profile it also says I'm the Chief GM Officer.
Okay.
So yeah, there's that. But no, I co-founded a startup called Step Finance. We're a portfolio aggregator on Solana and looking to expand to more blockchains like potentially AVAX.
Cool. So yeah, it's pushing my second question. So what the hell are you doing here if you're building on Solana?
Well, look, I think that there is going to be a multi-chain future. And for us as well, like our product right now is focused on Solana. So we're showing people all of their positions across that whole DeFi chain. But there's lots of DeFi chains. There's probably about 3 or 4 core ones. And I think for us to really expand our product, we have to be at places like this, talking to other chains. You know, I'm excited about AVAX, I'm excited about Terra. You know, Ethereum obviously has quite a reputation in DeFi, but maybe not many of the retail users are there at the moment. So I think it pays to keep abreast of what's actually happening. So that's why I'm here. I'm here because I think it's probably a good growth market for us. And one day I think Step will have those integrations and it'll make sense.
Cool. Okay. So do you plan to deploy on AVAX?
Not yet. Not yet. I think we need to really see where the market's at here. So one of the things that we've had, one of the problems that we've had on Solana is that there's so much happening that it's really hard to keep up. So the first thing is that we have to integrate with all of these other third-party projects. These other third-party projects might be yield farms, they might be AMMs, they might be, I don't know, options protocol, whatever. We have to integrate them, and some are easier to do than others, right? So for us, we're not really deploying on-chain contracts. We're really just connecting to all the people that already have them. So like if we're looking at other blockchains, we first need to know, well, who are what is the lay of the land? Like who are the people that we should be talking to? You know, what are the positions which people want to track? How do we integrate? What's the best way to integrate? So for us, it's less about us actively doing things on chain and more about us connecting to all the people that already have stuff happening. So really for us, yeah, we've got to meet these teams, meet these protocols, meet these projects, try and find out what's the best way to connect them to us.
Okay, cool. So there's more, I mean, we'll talk about less about DeFi and more about all the subjects like play to earn, because there's more and more play to earn developing. So could we talk about the rise of the play to earn ecosystem?
Yeah. So I think last year was really the year of NFTs, right?
Yeah.
And through that we saw projects like Axie go from kind of nothing to kind of something. We really saw Axie take off, and that's I think what pioneered the whole play-to-earn landscape. Now, Axie themselves, they are a gaming company, but they also had to build their own blockchain on the side.
Sure.
They had to build their own wallet and all of this kind of stuff. Now, imagine that, you're a gaming company, and now you've got to drop everything and learn how blockchains work and try and build a whole new infrastructure for that. So, you know, I think the days of having to do that are behind us, and now we're having the blockchains themselves that are pretty well set up for working with NFTs, working with these play-to-earn projects, easily integrating into game engines. So I think the play-to-earn landscape is probably going to grow quite massively, just because it's easier to integrate, right? You don't have to go and spin up your own chain to do stuff. But also some of these blockchains are trying to target some of these projects. They're trying to bring them on board. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I think a lot of the NFT ecosystems are probably going to morph into games. We're seeing some of that already, where people have their avatars, right? And they connect them to their social media profiles. But often, you know, people also want to use their avatars maybe in a game. And, you know, maybe some avatars have certain traits that make them better or worse at the game. And that's all part of the fun. So I think the flow from NFT project that's just creating some unique artwork, it maybe started as that, but I think it's morphing into more of the gaming scene. And when you do that, then I think it brings in some of these play-to-earn elements where maybe to you know, be good at the game, there's a coin involved, maybe you earn the coin by doing something. and maybe there's some sort of ecosystem that they can build from that. So I think that's what all of these play-to-earn projects are aiming for. Probably not all of them will get there, but I think some will.
Okay, and I mean about. We talk about the play to earn, but there's a new trend which is not play to earn but play and earn. What's the difference? I mean, in your opinion?
That'd probably be a good question. I would say that a lot of the games try and have a lot of the elements, and what the elements of a successful play-to-earn ecosystem are is you need to have a game that people want to play. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
That's how you bring the customers in. That's why you keep them there. Number two is you need to have some sort of economic incentive for people to take actions and do stuff in the game. So you can think of like an MMORPG like World of Warcraft. People are doing stuff because the game is fun, but also they earn some gold, and that gold they can spend on cool items, maybe a nicer sword or a different armor or something like that. And then you also need the ability for, once you do that, let's say you have a coin which fulfills that function in your game, you also need to close the loop, because if you, for example, just keep inflating the supply of these coins, more people come and play your game, more of this in-game gold that exists, then it doesn't really have any economic value because you can create it out of nothing. So you really need to close the loop by having a way for people to maybe pay dollars for that in-game currency and essentially eliminate it from supply. So coins can be created, but they can also be destroyed in the game. And I think if you have a good balance between that, where the same amount of coins are being created as are being destroyed, then you probably have a vibrant ecosystem that can grow. The economics are there. It's not going to be inflated all the way to zero. And you still have an incentive there for people to want to play the game because it's something that's valuable. So I would say that all of these games combine these different elements, right? And whether people are playing just to earn, or whether it's like a side effect of playing the game, I don't know. Either is valid, but I think you have to have those elements in order to be a success.
Okay. What are your thoughts on esports and blockchain? I mean, how do they can interact?
Yeah. Well, I think you saw last year as well, FTX buying some esports teams.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably seeing it from the perspective of they want to get their name out there with a similar demographic and audience overlap to the people that are into crypto, right? It's generally younger, maybe 20s, 30s, maybe 40s as well, people that are into crypto. So I think, that's certainly there's an overlap in a demographic there. But I think for esports teams, because of that overlap, it lends themselves to having sponsorships and partners that are also in crypto land.
Yeah.
Because, anyone can sit there, they can play these games from anywhere in the world, they can make money. And it makes sense that if these people are into gaming, they're probably watching these esports teams as well. Maybe they're interested in the sponsors, and that makes sense. So, yeah, look, I think esports is, whether you see esports teams competing in crypto play-to-earn games, well, that would be exciting. It would kind of be instead of competing to win, it might be the competition to make enough money in a shorter period of time, which maybe would be interesting in and of itself. But yeah, I think it would bring some interesting dynamics, which just playing StarCraft or something is not going to bring.
I mean, what could be the best mechanics to onboard? The new waves of players or esports players into that kind of games.
Yeah, so I think you got to segment it from the esports teams and players, and then also just the masses. So the masses want to get in because they want to play a cool game, they want to buy cool skins, armor, that sort of stuff. They want to maybe earn some money on the side as well, especially if you're a kid without a bank account or a credit card. Certainly makes sense. So you've got to have that retail element for it. I think for the esports teams, they're probably more interested in expanding their reach, right? To as I said, more demographics, more people that are into crypto are probably into the esports as well. So yeah, look, I think to grow that, the esports teams have got to reach out to more crypto companies. They've got to be at places like this. They've got to be talking to people like FTX and Alameda and so on, and see what can happen there. I think a lot of the traditional esports games are going to find it hard to adapt to the crypto world. Yeah. And a lot of the crypto native games you know, they're coming at it from a completely different angle. You know, they don't have IP which is owned by like just one company, whereas a lot of these existing games, like they have a 10-year history often of IP which is owned by a company. So crypto is all about anyone owns the IP, right? Anyone comes in and makes whatever game that they like. So I think, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I don't know how that will play out, but certainly the crypto native games I think will outcompete the traditional games with the IP and so on.
Okay, so maybe you don't know, but our company, Francecrypto, is backing an esport team in France, and we have two kinds of gamers. Those that are really interested into knowing NFTs and how it works, and there are another parts that people are really afraid and also definitely against NFTs. What could you, what could you say to convince them that it's the future of gaming?
Yeah, it's a weird thing that's happened recently where a lot of gamers are against NFTs for some reason. I don't know where that came from. I think that a lot of people don't really understand it, right? And a lot of people I don't think understand some of the opportunities that you could do. So one of the examples I like to give is one of the games that we've done a lot of stuff with is Star Atlas. And they have like a spacefaring game. You have spaceships, you have guns and armor and so on. But it's also connected to the Solana DEX, the Serum DEX.
Yeah.
So in this case, imagine if you had an in-game item, which let's say you and your guild members get together and there's a planet, let's say, and that's an item, it has a value, you can trade it on a DEX. Let's say you short that item beforehand on the DEX, and then you go and in-game raid the planet, steal all the resources, and then the price of that planet in-game goes down, and so does it on the DEX as well. Then you can make real money, you close your short. So essentially you become a real-world pirate. So real-world pirate gangs, I think that'd be pretty cool, right? And I think these are some of the new use cases which are unlocked with the crypto angle and also gaming as well. So I think if people really just understood that and some of the new potential and new ways to play a game, they perhaps would be less inclined to be a bit negative on it.
Yeah.
I think it's more of it's an enhancement to a game rather than something that's a detractor. Like if they're concerned about microtransactions and these sorts of things, we already see that in games. Like it's already prevalent everywhere. And a lot of people hate it. They hate loot boxes and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
But in this case, okay, imagine a loot box, but you also get an item which you can then go and sell and make money later on. So it's fundamentally a better system. Instead of you just spending money and getting nothing in return except maybe some armor, you spend money, you get an NFT, you get the armor, but then also you can then go and sell it later on as well, so you can get your money back.
Yeah.
So I don't think people really understand that whole closed loop system can be really awesome and just fundamentally better than how things are currently.
Okay, thanks for your point of view. And this is my last question. It might be a bit tricky, but what are your top 3 play to earn?
Top 3 play to earn?
Every blockchain.
Every blockchain, okay. Well, as I said, I like Star Atlas.
Okay.
I like Star Atlas quite a lot. I think DeFi Kingdoms has been also doing pretty well. It's not really play to earn, but it's kind of gamifying DeFi.
Yeah.
DeFi Land is the same as well. They have some really cool stuff. We've done some partnerships with them. And I think Axie, they're the original. So you've got to throw them in there. But I think they're the most exciting. I think there's going to be a ton more. 12 months from now, we might sit down and there'll be ones that we've never even heard of because I think the space is exploding.
Yeah.
But for us, really excited in some of the AAA games coming. People using Unreal Engine 5 for a lot of these new games as well. That's going to be super exciting.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thanks
a lot.
Thanks for having me.